All right, welcome to Smokey Approved Korea. I'm your boy journalist, and on this one, we are here to do some wrap up work. I did my own little rant video on this when this first happened, but then some people asked me to kind of go over these videos. So I know there's a Bora one, there's a Celeste one, there's a third person I can't think of, but I'll get those other two wrapped up. But we're gonna start with Bora. Shout out to Bora, and then we'll do Celeste next. And if somebody wants to tell me the third one, yeah, we'll do that one too, and then put a nice little bow on this, and we can move on. And yeah, start off. Fuck Billboard. Thank you for joining me. If you could please hit that like, subscribe, Patreon's in the description, and let's get into this.
On April 3rd, Jimin of BTS became the first South Korean soloist to debut at number 1 on the world's biggest music chart, the Billboard Hot 100. His song Like Crazy became the 7th song ever by a Korean act to reach number 1. The other 6 songs are BTS's songs. So all of the Korean songs that reach number 1 are from BTS and BTS members only. Actually, all the songs from Asian artists that debuted at number 1 are from BTS and BTS members only. And believe it or not, this is
I don't know if it's a shade or it's flex, but it feels like a beautiful mixture of both. It's like, well, actually, it's not just like only BTS. Like, that's actually not finite enough. Actually, all the Asian records that ever go number 1, those are actually all BTS too. Just like drive that point home. Like, it doesn't matter where you are from, whatever the Asian diaspora may be, it's BTS. That's it.
extremely scary for the music industry. Since BTS entered the Hot 100's top 10 for the first time in 2018, the music industry has done everything in their power to prevent them from getting number 1 songs. But why does BTS keep succeeding despite literally being one of the most sabotaged artists in the industry? And why would all these music entities work together to harm one artist? Isn't this simply why would all these music entities work together to harm one artist?
Major record labels own stocks in every one of these, except the Grammys and maybe TikTok because that's Tencent in them. But it's all major record labels. They're just controlling the narrative.
Isn't this simply paranoia from BTS fans? The industry's actions say something very clear. BTS cannot be at the top, and they don't try to hide this anymore. Everyone can see the industry's obvious intentions by looking at the times they come up with a weird new rule that prevents BTS from succeeding in their charts. Just look at the latest one. Jimin's song Like Crazy got a number 1 in its first week, and it was predicted to stay in the top 10 for its second week. Jimin was achieving the same debut numbers of Olivia Rodrigo but without the industry support. And this obviously was not the industry's plan. So Billboard decided to change one specific rule that benefits Jimin, so him and only him can fall from the charts, and the rest of it stays exactly the same.
It is because of the it's using Army's organization against you guys because you guys are so publicly organized. If I work for Billboard and I figure out, just due to Army being so open with how they want to support each release, I know exactly the plan, which is buy multiple albums, do X, Y, and Z. Once I know that, if I'm at Billboard, I'm like, oh, well, if they're buying multiple albums, then we can just filter by emails, and then boom, we can now just only target this person because all these other fan bases are not as organized or they're not as financially supportive as I see BTS Army is, because Army buys albums for niggas that don't got money. They buy albums for niggas who got money. They just buy albums because, nigga, you should hear this. I want just skipping down the street, handing out BTS albums and that. I'm not saying it's exactly happening like that, but there's a large portion of people in the Army that just buy albums just to make sure that they can get the music physically passed to somebody else or give access to those that don't typically have as easy as access to listen to support BTS. And in knowing this, if I'm at Billboard, I'm like, this is easy. It's easy because it's so public. You guys, it's not like there's like a secret back channel to do this. You guys just be on Twitter talking to each other like, yo, on Monday, I'm going to go do this. And the Billboard's like, oh, on Monday, I'm just going to filter all of these to make sure that I don't have to worry about this. It just works out that way. At least that's how I'm seeing it happen.
It's still unknown what Billboard did exactly to make the best-selling song of the week go from 100,000 sales to 14,000 sales. Maybe Billboard didn't just want Jimin to not be in the top 10, they wanted him to free fall. So why filter 60% of the song's sales so he can fall from the top 10 when you can cut 90% of the song's sales and make him have the biggest fall ever? Maybe they didn't just want to take his accomplishment away, they wanted to send a message. They wanted to show who is really in charge, not the fans consuming the music, but the industry itself. This is not the first time they've done this. Whenever they want a song to fall on the charts, they apply a new rule that applies to one artist, and then they forget about this rule for the following weeks until once again, an artist they don't want to be at the top is at the top. So they apply one specific rule that can help them fall. Allegedly, of course, because the only explanation to delete 90% of a song's sales is for Luminate, which tracks these numbers, to track each payment by looking at IP addresses and credit card information, and that's illegal.
It's emails. I'm telling you, blood. I'm telling you. I don't need your fucking IP. I don't need none of that shit. You bought that motherfucker with an email for me to send to a receipt. I can now filter my sales based off of amount and email addresses without breaking any laws. This is for sure the first way they did it. If not, they are fucking stupid. Because the moment somebody finds this out, somebody's in trouble. But I would swear it's emails because it's legal and it's already just there. Like if I just open it's not Shopify. What is the name of these people that sell clothes? Like you could just, I think it is Shopify. If I open a Shopify store and then you buy a t-shirt from me, I can now filter like who's bought a t-shirt by email address, and then it'll give me a quantity, and then I could just be like, oh, just do the math to remove any multiples from each email, and only one email gets to buy one album. Everything else is just fucking, it's funny math at that point. We're playing with the numbers. This is why sometimes statistics, not even sometimes, a lot of the time, statistics are just funny numbers. You can abuse numbers. Numbers lie, just like people do, because people will lie using numbers to enforce a belief because people don't think that numbers lie. They fucking do. They don't tell the whole story.
And Billboard would never, of course. So why would the whole industry go out of their ways to prevent one artist from succeeding?
Money and prestige. Prestige and money.
BTS's biggest advantage and disadvantage is that they are successful without the industry's support. And the industry has built an environment where you can only win if you accept to play the industry's game. In other words, the industry chooses its winners from the very beginning and sabotages other players who find alternative ways to defeat others at their own game. I would say that the biggest artists who do this are BTS, and it's because of ARMY's power. BTS is not simply a one-hit artist, they are at the core of pop culture. And they did this without industry support. Not the K-pop industry support, not the Western industry support. BTS were able to get to the top of the music industry without the music industry making a profit out of them. That's why BTS are a problem. That's what the industry cannot stand. Just compare Psy's situation with BTS's situation. When Gangnam Style by Psy became globally popular, the music industry was not afraid of a Korean singer becoming popular in the West because everyone assumed it was a one-time thing. But when BTS became globally popular, the story was different. The Western industry was first okay with them being a one-hit artist. They were fine with BTS being the weird phenomenon that people will grow out of after some time. But when they didn't disappear and they actually started defeating Western artists, the music industry got worried.
When I first heard something Korean had exploded in America, I got worried.
The entertainment industry is usually happy to celebrate.
It's not even a joke, blood. I don't think there's been anything Korean exploded by a Korean person in America ever. Like, there's not even like a basis for this. Like, that's just a racist ass joke. Jimmy Carr's a cunt and has the world's fucking worst laugh. Fuck that guy's laugh is shit.
International and independent artists and scream diversity as long as one, it's a one-time thing, or 2, artists obey the industry's rules and give the industry some profit. The
Despacito's
Oscars
a
were fine
tune.
celebrating Bong Joon-ho's movie because even though they don't profit from the movie's success, at least Bong Joon-ho is not an artist releasing multiple successful projects a year. Parasite was a one-time thing that indirectly could help his other movies from American production companies. The Emmys were happy giving Squid Games multiple awards because at least the show was being produced by Netflix and the actors were happy to accept offers from the Western industry. In other words, the Western industry got benefits from the success of a foreign series, so it was fine to celebrate them. Everything Everywhere All at Once was highly celebrated by the industry, but at the end of the day, it's an American movie by American directors, American writers, and American production companies. In the end, the movie's success is the American industry's profit. But singers are different because they constantly release music and their success can become constant support from fans. So an artist's success can rely on the fans more than it relies on the industry itself. And that is not something the industry wants. This is why a song like Despacito, which was already the most popular song worldwide before the Justin Bieber feature, was not recognized at all by Billboard or any other entity from the American music industry. They only accepted the song as a global success when Justin Bieber and his American label were involved and making a profit out of it.
That's facts. I've never heard Despacito without Justin on a Los Angeles radio station ever. But that joint with Justin come on, it's like, tune. I'm not like, it's shit that he needs to be on that song to get that song further. But I can't even call myself a Justin Bieber fan. But Justin Bieber on Maria with Travis Scott, so fucking good. Justin Bieber on Despacito, it's good. It sounds good. I don't know any other ones, but them two right there, like those are the songs I'd be like, yo, throw that Justin on. That's when I'm saying that Justin, it's really just Travis Scott's Maria. Oh, if you've never heard Travis Scott's Maria before, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
This is why the Billboard Music Awards were happy to invite Psy to their ceremony, but they never gave Gangnam Style, the biggest song of the year, a number 1. Many factors prevented Psy from achieving this. To start, Psy never left his Korean company to fully sign with an American label, so his music never got proper industry support. Also, at the time, Billboard didn't count YouTube views as streams, making it obvious how the charts didn't reflect what the public was actually listening to. Even to this day, it's obvious how at the time, Billboard didn't count YouTube views as streams, making it obvious how the charts didn't reflect what the public was actually listening to. Even to this day, and with many chart adjustments, the Billboard charts are just a reflection of the artists the industry wanted to succeed from the very beginning. Of course, there are exceptions like Gangnam Style, Old Town Road, and some organic TikTok hits. But how far they go and how far they'll keep being recognized depends on the artist's willingness to shake hands with industry people. And again, they don't care if you're a foreign artist, as long as they get to make a profit out of you. But if you don't comply with them, you will get your moment of fame and then be completely shut down from the music industry. Here's how they do it.
Every time I work, every time I run, every time I move.
The industry endorses its own artists on streaming platforms like Spotify by applying multiple subtle methods. One way is by putting the artist's desire to succeed at the best spots of curated playlists. The biggest one is the Today's Top Hits playlist, which doesn't actually show today's top hits. That it's the ugly, colorless Top 50 playlist. Today's Top Hits is what Spotify wants to be the top hits. Millions of streams from the general public come from this playlist, so being a part of it, it's a vital part of a song's promotion. Spotify says that they decide which artists get to be at the top of the playlist or at the cover based on their intuition and expertise in music trends. But many find these arbitrary decisions suspicious, since Spotify loves giving this special treatment to certain artists from certain labels. To think that artists from certain powerful labels are paying their way to the cover of this playlist may not be a crazy thing to think. Spotify also takes advantage of the automatic autoplay feature. When you stop listening to an album you like, they will immediately play you a song they want you to stream. More recently, Spotify updated their homepage to a TikTok-like feed that lets you scroll down endlessly with songs and music videos being automatically played. So while some artists get millions of streams added because of passive streams from curated playlists and the accidental streams from the autoplay feature, BTS get millions of streams deleted because fandom behavior of willingly listening to a song every day is considered bot behavior. So if you compare BTS's unfiltered streams with their filter streams, you will find out that they are the ones with the highest rate of filter streams. Their streams get deleted more than any other artist. There are even days when their streams are cut in half. But Spotify is not the only platform doing this. Some of BTS's biggest waves of new fans came from YouTube. Their music videos get so many views that BTS started breaking every YouTube record imaginable, time and time again. So every time BTS broke a record, YouTube changed their algorithm to find ways to delete what they say are inorganic views. But it's pretty clear that their algorithms never worked properly. That's why they keep changing it every time BTS gets a new record. So just to talk about the latest YouTube algorithm change, I'm going to talk about the most successful music videos from a Korean act so far this year. According to YouTube, it's this video. But according to the massive wave of new BTS fans you can find on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube itself, It's on the Street by J-Hope you can find on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube itself, It's on the Street by J-Hope of BTS featuring J. Cole, and Like Crazy by Jimin of BTS. But both of these videos get millions of views deleted every day. It's common for YouTube to do this in the first 24 hours with every music video, since it's the day they get the most views. As days pass, fans stop mass streaming and YouTube stops deleting views. But this is BTS, so YouTube is still deleting their music video views today, weeks after they were released. You may still think that YouTube is just deleting fake views, but it's simply impossible for a random Jimin interview to get more views in its first hours than an official and anticipated Jimin music video. It's not crazy to believe that YouTube disproportionately deletes views on BTS's music videos specifically. Let's be logical for a second. These K-pop acts are not bigger than BTS, and that's okay.
I know two people on this list.
But it's not okay for BTS to get their views deleted every hour, while these other microscopical songs get views added because people are forced to stream their music
Microscopical. God damn, she on these niggas' head.
videos as YouTube ads. On the other hand, because of these two videos, BTS recently received one of its biggest waves of new fans, probably the biggest since 2021. Yet YouTube wants us to believe that these are the real numbers.
Global takeover group BTS in the studio. There they are.
Probably the most fraudulent practice in the music industry is giving radio importance. At least with streaming platforms, there is this sense of autonomy. Streaming platforms may choose the artists they want to be at the top. They may recommend you their songs and music videos time and time again. They may even steal a stream from you because of their autoplay features and paid ads. But at least there are ways to fight this. ARMYs may not get BTS ads and recommendations, but they can look for the songs and videos themselves. ARMYs may not get all of their streams counted, but at least the industry recognizes about half of them. But what has no solution except to pay is radio. Radio mysteriously chooses certain songs to get played and stays with those, giving them millions of radio spins and points to music charts that will give them a #1. But here you have Jimin of BTS, who has a #1 song and millions of radio play requests by fans and still receives 0 points from radio. And this is not even a crazy foreign song that the American general public may reject. This is a mainstream yet nicely produced pop song in English. But this is just reality. It was not in the industry's plans or in their best interest to make Like Crazy popular. So when it happened, they once again pretended like BTS doesn't exist and continue sabotaging their songs. Life Goes On was another radio-friendly song by BTS that got a #1 on the Hot 100, but they received a total of 6 spins on US radio. That's 0 points for music charts. Dynamite and Butter were not
What? No.
got a number 1 on the Hot 100, but they received a total of 6 spins on US.
6 spins. The number alone says that there should be like somebody needs to launch a criminal investigation. The size of Army, even in America alone, there's more than 6 niggas calling a radio station asking somebody to play a fucking song. Like this is just blatant criminality. Like you're just not even gonna play a nigga record, but there's like what? I could say like if I see like a couple thousand or something, I'd be like, all right, they playing a little bit. But like I'm seeing millions of streams. I could have swore I seen like 40 million streams on the fucking one of these fucking things. Yeah, fucking 40 million for what's popping. These niggas got 6. Like a single number. How? That shit is what? Oh, that's crazy.
Radio. That's 0 points for music charts. Dynamite and Butter were number 1 songs in English by BTS that were played on the radio to an extent, but the number of spins were not enough to maintain their number 1 position. They were only able to stay on the top of the charts because people were streaming and buying their songs. That is the main difference with BTS's songs and the industry songs. If you take the millions of radio spins from the majority of the industry's promoted songs, they wouldn't only have bigger falls than BTS. They would simply not be in the chart at all. This is how the industry chooses their success stories from the very beginning. Mass radio play makes a song debut look more successful than what it actually is, and therefore it misleads and attracts the general public. If this doesn't work and the general public still rejects the song, the industry doesn't give up. Mass radio play makes an unsuccessful song stay in the charts with minimal sales and streams from real people. While this happens, songs like Jimin's, which literally got a number 1 and millions of people streaming and buying, will still not receive any radio spins. Radio doesn't care about how radio friendly the song is. They don't care about the millions of faithful listeners they would get if they play BTS music. They don't care about the most requested songs. The industry's plans are the industry's plans.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no.
The reason why many talk about the industry as a whole is because all of these music entities are interconnected one way or another. Artists and their labels know that being on the Billboard charts gives the illusion that the general public is listening to a song. And to get a number 1 song on this chart, you need streams, sales, and radio play. So music labels, allegedly, pay for all of this radio play, fraudulent streams, and media play because they can be an investment for future real sales and streams. This can be an investment for real popularity and real listeners. If all of these investments fail to convince the general public and the label is bold enough, they will continue paying for these tactics to stay on the charts while no real people are streaming or buying the song. These failed industry promoted songs that no one is listening to will then be nominated for Grammys with the excuse that they care about quality and not popularity. These Grammys will then elevate the artist and the music label's reputation, and then they will get more money invested in them. This money will then be used to buy media play, radio play, streams, and the circle continues. If a massively
Welcome to the circus. That's a great way to explain exactly how this toxic system feeds back into itself.
promoted song or album is successful, the artist may get their investment money back, as well as the obvious Grammys. This will give the artist the most important factor to make money: reputation. Allegedly, music labels pay way more money to streaming platforms for promotion than they receive from streams. The money paid for radio spins can go from thousands of dollars to multi-million dollar settlements. And getting the
That should be illegal as well. You should not be able to, as a record label, accept marketing money or pay marketing money to any DSP or radio station directly at all. I think the only place that a label should be able to like directly spend their money, if you want to spend money and pay a movie studio X amount so they use your song on a soundtrack or whatever, happy to have that happen. Don't give 2 fucks. That's a good usage of your money. But if you could pay a DSP, a online platform like YouTube, or a radio station marketing money. Nah, fuck out of here. You should not be able to commingle funds with any person that does distribution of music to public. That should just be illegal. Illegal as fuck.
This investment back as sales is not as common because buying music is not a popular enough practice amongst the general public. Musicians rarely make profit from their music. They earn money from advances, merchandise, royalties, licensing fees, and concerts. That's why that number one is so important. That's why many would rather not make any profits now and get a Grammy later. It's like being influencers. Their actual content may not make a lot of profit, but the reputation and popularity of their name can get them fashion deals, commercials, and a time slot in a music festival. These are only examples, of course. There are many variables and outcomes. Sometimes artists invest in radio play and end up making a lot more money from sales or concerts. Sometimes an artist has a good relationship with the industry for years, and then they stop shaking hands with industry people and they receive 0 Grammy nominations for an extremely popular, critically acclaimed album. When it comes to BTS, the Western industry's main interest is ratings and social media engagement, because that is direct money for the Western industry. BTS's 5 Grammy nominations are historic for a number of reasons, but their lack of wins show the obvious message the Grammys are trying to send them. You can't be invited so we have the ratings, but you are not our friends, so you won't win. In the end, the industry has the first and last say, and this doesn't only happen in the Western music industry. You won't believe how much the South Korean music industry tries to sabotage the only artists capable of bringing billions of dollars to their economy. Again, this is because BTS are not part of their elite. The 3 major music labels in South Korea control the entertainment industry. They have enough power to blacklist artists from independent labels like BTS and make the media downplay their achievements. There isn't a common practice of deleting sales like in American music charts, but what they would do is freeze the charts and then apologize for a technical error, so millions of BTS sales are not counted once again. This is how the different music entities inside each music industry are interconnected. They need one another to function. Sometimes they are one and the same. If you thought Billboard and Rolling Stone were at some point competing for who has the best charts, think about how they are both owned by Banks Media Corporation, which also owns Variety, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, and an interest in music business worldwide. So if BTS is still the biggest group in the world, but they don't have a good relationship with the music industry, here you will have Guess Who, Billboard, Rolling Stone, Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter making a profit out of BTS by selling exclusive photo shoots while at the same time writing negative articles undermining their success. This person said something interesting. Billboard is nothing but an ad-selling business, the literal definition of a billboard. So why are you surprised the artists
Shots
Billboard
fired.
promoted since day one end up succeeding in the Billboard charts?
Yes, they do. Yes, they motherfucking do.
Like I said, there are not many artists that make money from their music, but music sales are still an important factor to get a #1 song or album, so they will digitally sell their songs for cents and their albums for only a couple of dollars. This makes a lot of points for charts, but not so much money for the artist. They will also do the classic bundle album sales by selling concert tickets and different kinds of merch like t-shirts, socks, underwear, cups, lollipops, energy drinks, and even condoms, along with a copy of their album. Charts will
Who out here flipping condoms? That's a hustle. That's a real hustle.
then count these merch sales as album sales. However, BTS's main strategy to get their #1 albums and songs is to focus on music sales, real sales. BTS has never bundled their
Fuck all that digital money. That shit is pennies. You motherfuckers gonna buy an actual album? Goddamn right. $15.99. $19.99 like it's the fucking 2000s. Like, what you talking about? Like, that's real fucking money. A stream or digital sales are just like, oh, they're just eaten up between so many other bullshit like fees and just red tape. Buy my album. Buy the whole thing. Like the real thing. I mail it to you. I make so much more money even if I front the cost of shipping. Like, it's ridiculous. Nah, buy the album.
albums with any kind of merchandise or concert tickets. Their biggest sin, which the industry loves to point out, is the fact that they release a maximum of 4 versions of an album. But these were only special occasions. The norm for BTS is to release 2 versions of an album, something completely harmless if you compare it to the insane sales tactics by other music labels. Fans being encouraged to buy
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. We need steroids, baby. Look at your steroid pack. It's well designed, but these are steroids, and we can't just say, oh, like compared to everybody else's steroid usage, like this is minimal. Like we barely even touching this shit. We're all doing steroids. It's okay. It's all right. But let's just be honest the fuck about it. Everybody's doing roids. They're just better tailored roids over here at BTS, which is perfectly fine. But everybody's doing it. Let's not try and just like sweep it under the rug and make it all like pretty. The industry is shit and it's very ugly. So I would just like it to be, let's just be honest about what the fuck is going on. Because these are driving numbers and changing metrics that would not exist if we did not make these different iterations of albums. Because it's what it's for. It's for cash generation and to pump the numbers. We're out here getting some non-natty gains. That's just what's happening.
compared to the insane sales tactics by other music labels. Fans being encouraged to buy 2 or 4 versions of the same album because they come with a unique photo card is nothing compared to K-pop singers releasing 7 or 13 versions of the same album.
Nigga, what?
Compared to K-pop singers releasing 7 or
What?
13.
What? No, stop. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. What are you doing? Oh, I would hate to have been the metadata fucking person at the record label when this fucking dropped. I would have been like, fuck 17. Blow it up. All you niggas is fired. What is going on? What? Hey. Again, I understand why she's framed it this way. Because comparative, I did 2 for multiple albums. You niggas, 13 versions for one album? Y'all worse than Kanye. This is ridiculous.
13 versions of the same album. BTS's 2 or 4 versions of an album don't have the purpose to maximize album sales, or they would be way cheaper. BTS's album versions are intended to...
No. Just because it's costing a certain number does not mean that it's not being used for the same fucking purpose. I just don't give a fuck. I'm charging what I'm charging. You gonna pay. That's it. Yeah, it would look more like them trying to drive album sales if they did price it for $9.99 and such. But why would I do that when I can price it for $15 or I can price it for $20 or $25 or whatever the fuck these are going for? If I can price it higher, fine. It's still serving the same purpose. I made another iteration of the same album, switched it up a little bit, but the ISRC codes from that new album waterfall into the main album, which boosts the entire profile of all these songs and that main album, which helps me build the brand. It's just what's happening.
actually make money, and their number of versions usually has something to do with the album's concept. If they think one version of an album is enough to capture the album's concept, then they will release only one version. If the album's concept works better in 2 opposite works, then they release 2 versions. It's as simple as that. Another common practice to maximize sales is to release remixes of a song. All of these remixes, sales, and streams will be combined and help the main song climb in music charts. BTS very occasionally releases multiple remixes of a song, and ARMYs buy these remixes to help BTS stay on the charts, since they receive literally 0 points from radio and their streams are cut in half. But while BTS is being criticized by the industry for this remix tactic, other artists are celebrated and called smart and iconic for doing exactly the same. The industry and multiple fandoms think they are doing something by accusing ARMYs of mass buying BTS albums and songs, without realizing that by doing so, they are admitting that the quote-unquote organic hits from the charts are there with industry support and not fandom support. The industry and multiple fandoms criticize and laugh at BTS for not having radio points, when they have no control.
I would like to at least just make it very clear. I'm not making the delineation between mass buying for like critique purposes or not. I actually think it's a flex that Army is at least galvanized enough to be like, nigga, I'm buying 2, 3, 4, fuck it. If I could buy 10, I'm buying 10. It's my goddamn money. So I'm not doing it for that purpose at all. I don't even know why anybody would take it as a dig either. You goddamn right I mass buy this album. Did you buy 2 albums for your favorite artist? No, you didn't. Then suck your mother. Shut up. You're not in these streets like me. Like you're on the sidewalk. I'm clearly in the road, paving that bitch. Don't talk to me.
Over that. They will have to pay for that just like every other artist is doing. The industry and multiple fandoms criticize and laugh at armies for mass buying when all they're doing is balance the unfair treatment by the industry. If BTS is not willing to pay for radio, which is illegal, or pay for playlisting in streaming platforms, then armies will buy every copy of BTS music available.
I also think mass buying is not just truly for only support of the boys, but I really, due to just my interaction with Army, it is really to get the music in the folks' hand. There is a culture within BTS Army that I've paid attention to that, nigga, I own it. Like it's the 90s, the 60s, the 70s. Like I can physically reach out and go touch the thing that I stream every day. Most people can't do that. Or most people don't have access to internet in some of these places. So then they just make a way for a motherfucker to hear the music. I feel like it's more of a culture of ownership actually of a physical and directly supporting an artist with the most effective means for that money to reach your artist. That's where I think mass buying comes in for Army more so than they're doing it to compete like in the industry. Do you guys understand, because you guys have been educated, that it will help the album or your favorite BTS member or their single or remix or whatever it is? Sure. But I think that's like so far down the list. Like I feel like making sure some kid in some random country gets to hear this fucking album because you just bought an extra because you got it like that, I feel like is more higher on the list than like, oh man, I'm trying to fight big old bad music industry. I think number 1 on the list for sure would be like, I'm buying an album so I can say, fuck it, I bought mono. My money went to fucking RM directly, cuz. Like, whatever hype and them folks take off the top, cute. But that nigga's getting 9 of my $15. That's way better than me being like, oh, I streamed fucking mono 25 times. My nigga Lamarcus got $2. Isn't it great? Like, no, it's fucking terrible. It's not even $2. It's maybe like $1.50.
BTS depends on their fandom and their fandom.
That math is terrible. It's not even a fucking penny yet. Jesus Christ. That's
only. That's
well, maybe it's a penny. It's like maybe 3 cents.
what terrifies the industry. BTS are able to stay on the charts while actually making money from their music. That money goes to the BTS members and their Korean label, while the Western music industry receives nothing. Even the distribution deal BTS has with an American label benefits BTS more than it benefits the American label. So the label prioritizes their actual signed artists and dismisses BTS. That's what makes the industry mad. That's why the industry has ridiculed them so much that fandoms have convinced themselves that BTS are the corrupt ones instead of being the against all odds winners in a corrupt industry. And this is beyond the industry being petty. Other fandoms are convinced that the general public's support is better than fandom support because that is, according to the industry, organic success. But as you can see, there is nothing organic about these tactics. There is nothing organic about an industry choosing its own success stories and sabotaging the ones overcoming their unfair obstacles. What is organic is having a fan base of real people actually buying and streaming the music. You can see these millions of real people in sold-out stadium tours, something that the majority of the #1 artists and quote-unquote million sellers cannot accomplish. The general public may be tricked into streaming a song. They may follow a music trend on TikTok, but they are not always willing to buy expensive concert tickets.
No,
the general public
not.
moves on and forgets, but an army of fans is able to make an album or song successful without the artist paying for industry support. Real organic success is when an artist transforms the general public into fans, and that's that's what BTS does with every release. The fandom's numbers only go up. This is clearly reflected in the percentage of fans who consider themselves only ARMY. The majority of BTS fans are not K-pop fans. The majority of BTS fans are part of the general public. And this is easily understandable when you look at the fandom's waves of new fans and realize that they have nothing to do with K-pop and everything to do with BTS's performance. So why would an artist prefer the momentary, passive support from the general public when they could have the constant, active support from a fandom? Why would artists prefer a theater or arena concert with people who only know their one or two TikTok hits instead of a sold-out stadium with people who know all of their songs? Why is constantly convincing the general public to be your fan not organic success? Your fan.
This is just fucking ridiculous. I've obviously never stood in front of anything like this on stage, but standing in front of people pulling their cell phones out on stage, it's an experience. Like, I really can't put it into words. What, like, if you're a performer and you've been on stage and people are just so locked into your thing that, like, they do a thing that, like, it used to be like a lighter flick and people used to pull their lighters out to now it's like people pull their cell phones out and like they're doing it, they're vibing to your music. It's a special feeling. So to see this stadium just pitch black, cut the fucking lights, but every nigga that's in the army got that bitch lit up like the night sky, but it's on the ground, is ridiculous.
And not organic success. I think it's very hypocritical for fandoms to cry about how the charts have no meaning anymore every time BTS gets a number one. Yet they love celebrating the number ones from other artists who got there with weird tactics, to say the least. If now anyone can fool the charts and what BTS is doing is so easy, then why aren't more artists getting number ones only with sales? Why are the charts irrelevant only when BTS succeeds in them? And
to my point again, it's because there's a culture in army. Nigga, I'm gonna buy the real thing. Nobody else has built their fan base yet and been like, bun streaming, because streaming is not the thing, or just like, hey, buy my shit to help me more. Like, I don't really get how this has become a culture in army, but it's something I see that, like, most army that I've talked to, damn near every one of you all own at least one physical piece of merchandise. That's ridiculous. And I mean like a CD, not even talking about like all the extra stuff, but like every person I've talked to has like a CD, like a physical CD or a vinyl or a CD and a vinyl. That's ridiculous. That's most people that listen to Taylor Swift, they're not getting no goddamn Taylor Swift vinyl. Only like a real Taylor Swift fan, like a diehard, is buying a vinyl. Like, regular man is not just, oh, I went to the record store today, picked up Taylor Swift and a Nas vinyl. Like, it's not happening, cuz. Like, there's no want for those things. So army buying albums is just like, that's crazy. Especially in today's time where people don't buy albums. It's an entire fandom. It's like, but nigga, I do. I don't know what they doing over there, but I buy albums. That's crazy. That's so good.
don't get me wrong, the charts are obviously corrupt. The obvious message they try to send every time BTS gets a number one shows how aware they are of their corruption. The obvious humiliation from the industry's actions and media articles show how the industry doesn't care at all about their little mafia getting exposed. They don't care because they know that the general public will keep falling for their tactics. The general public will still believe that a song they don't even like is organically successful because they've listened to it on the radio hundreds of times. The general public will still believe that their accidental monthly stream in Spotify doesn't count much. Fandoms will still believe that what's best for their favorite artist is the industry and the general public support, rather than their own fandom buying the music and concert tickets. But every time ARMY helps BTS succeed in the same music industries that sabotage them, they prove a point. And no matter what the industry does, BTS will make money with no American music label in between, and not shaking hands with industry people. No matter what the industry does, BTS will continue having the fandom support others fail to conquer.
Boo. Yeah. All right. Run this back. Final thoughts on that. All right, fuck it. I actually don't need it. Yeah. Overall, I would definitely say the music industry is terrified, but it's not. I'm not even terrified. Nigga, I'm not eating, so I'm gonna make it as hard as it is for you to eat. I don't care what I got to do, how blatant it is. I'm making all the rules anyways. Unless you can actually put a case on, man, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I can. This is me speaking as the American music industry. This is exactly the hubris that they're approaching this game. And this is why I say the global market for music is going to be able to, it's going to hurt America having this stance. And they got to make the rules. That's cute and all. 10, 15 years from now, when the internet has proliferated so far that, like, borders really just don't really fucking make sense anymore, like, to a real point, to, like, an entire generation of kids, your manipulation of charts and all that shit is going to die. Niggas is going to convert to the internet completely. And at that point, it's going to be some kid in some small fucking village #1 in it because nigga just got the vibe. Like, you're not going to be able to put a bottle on this shit. Like, it's not going to happen. So I think that's more so where this comes from, with the trying to control the narrative in Black BTS from having certain things. And then niggas just corrupt. Or just be, I don't like them niggas. There's a lot of times, not me per se, but, like, I know a lot of people in the American music industry that just because they don't like a person, they will do whatever they can to hinder their success. And it's really stupid, because I'm on the side of, I care about the music too much to hate on a nigga. So even if I hate somebody, I still get that nigga opportunity, because I want people to experience the music this motherfucker make more than I hate this motherfucker. It's me personally. I think that's how it should be. But I don't make the rules. Overall, though, Army, keep mass buying. If anybody's telling you to stop mass buying, tell them suck their mother, get their money up, because clearly you can't mass buy like I can. I'm not hearing it. Besides that, shout out to Board for compiling this, sharing her thoughts with me. Like, we're talking directly. It sounds so crazy. But yeah, just like sharing her thoughts, though. I really do appreciate it. And, like, she always does a really good job. So shout out to her. And yeah, shout out to all the Army that's asked me to check this out. We got this one done. We'll go to the Celeste one. If there's another one, then I'll do that. We'll call these a wrap. And we'll just keep going down this rabbit hole. Thank you for your time. If you could, please hit that like, subscribe. Patreon's in the description. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.